All right, firing up the recording. Second league, trying some Dimir Shadow with Tamiyo. We did have a bunch of people in the chat interested in seeing Tamiyo. I love the card. See if it shows up a little bit here. We are main deck geared a bit more for the creature matchups. With 2 Go for the Throat, Blood Chief's Thirst, a couple of extra answers to stuff like Flage or opposing Murktide Regents. We've got our 3 copies of Tamiyo with our Mishra's Bauble, Street Wraith, Nethergoyf base. In the sideboard, 4 Consigned Memory, 3 Break the Ice for Tron, 2 Stern Scolding, Meat Hook Massacre, Toxic Deluge for some of the aggressive creature decks, 2 Unlicensed Hearse, Force Negation, Mystical Dispute, blah, 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 blah. You've seen the cards. You know what a Magic deck looks like. You don't need me breaking down every individual one. I do think the swamp versus island argument is worth having. It's a good discussion point, but I also know that from my experience being me, like, I will never say I'm a better Shadow player or decision maker with Shadow than anybody, but I will say I am the best Cntrlfreak player that I know. And I know my luck running a bunch of non-blue producing lands is that I will see all of them. Or non-black producing lands. I will see all of them, and it will cause a lot of issues with stuff like Break the Ice. But I also know if I run the basic swamp, it will be in every single one of my opening hands, and there's nothing I can do about that either. So it's a very much damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. What do we think runs Prismatic Vista? Alright, so I'm going to save this other Street Wraith in hand in case I draw into a Tamiyo. I might be able to find a way to flip it. Tron deck runs? Oh my god, it is. Well, our hand is not great against a Tron deck. I could cycle and look for a removal spell. Break the Ice not looking. I guess I can take out Waste, right? Just says, it doesn't specify non-basic. It just says snow or land that could produce, produce colorless. Yeah. Okay. I do think I am going to fire off Fatal Push here just to stop a little bit of this mana production. What do they get off of this? They got a Utopia Sprawl. So maybe I want to just hold up Counterspell this turn for Utopia Sprawl. Or not. Or not. Here's another Goyf. Go crazy. Moto's being a little laggy. I might have to restart it real quick. Moto's being hella laggy. All right, let's restart it real quick. I'm honestly really shocked that you were able to determine Tron from a prismatic vista. It's kind of a wild pull. And I'll also save the deck list real quick so I can upload that. Only fetch land for waste, right? It is, but at the same time, I've seen plenty of like 3-color mid-range or control decks run Prismatic Vista if they were running like Blood Moon. I'm going to Stubborn Denial that. Fair enough. Only got black screen. Okay, let's figure out what's going on there. Properties. Display capture, properties. How's that? Good. Nice. Don't know what that was all about. Okay. So let's go Watery Grave. Play another Nethergoyf. That one. That's the one that has caused a lot of the expensive stuff to be bad. So Emrakul, one less for each card type. Currently, if I counter the Myco spawn, 1, 2, 3, 4 card types, right? Creature, sorcery, enchantment, land. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so here's the problem. If I let the Myco spawn resolve, and I plan on countering the Emrakul, I don't have lethal next turn. I probably have to. When I say next turn, I mean like not this coming turn, but the turn after. Because they get to block. I'm not putting them down to low enough to kill if they block or kill through blockers next turn. And they've got yeah, they kind of have it all here. They have the Kozilek's command, which adds Kindred and ooh. It's a pretty good one. That is a pretty good one. Now we are killing with the attack. Alright. One top deck. Let's dodge it. Dude. Ban the One Ring already. No reason this card needs to be around. Zero reason. Another One Ring. Like, people legitimately think that this is okay. Like, oh, you couldn't handle a 4-mana sorcery speed spell. Like, do you see everything I used here? Every card I had available. Hey, look at Thoughtseize. Like, there's just no world that you can convince me that this is an okay Magic card. You have the Emrakul. Yep. Like a Kozilek's command to exile one of my dudes. It's as bad as Luris limits deck design. So there was a period of time where everybody was saying the ring is fine because the ring, as they put it, revitalizes old archetypes. And it would just be like things like this Scape Shift with the One Ring and Mono White Martyr with the One Ring. And all these decks that just won because they had 20 more cards than their opponent on turn 10 because they had the One Ring and their opponent just couldn't do anything about it. Like, I have no idea why you would escape the Nethergoyf here. Like, what benefit are you getting out of putting another creature on the battlefield that's not going to have summoning sickness on my turn? Are they just going to nuke the yard for Nethergoyf? Sure. But they're still running into the possibility of me, like, going Wraith into Preordain into something. Like, just chaining off a series of spells. Now, clearly we didn't, but I just think, like, if you have the Nethergoyf and that's it, there's, like, no threat of me killing you. But as soon as you put the Nethergoyf into play, then it becomes, okay, maybe I can chain off something to get to 5 card types, kill this Eldrazi spawn, put you to 1, and you have a ring. So you can actually exile any cards you want for escape. Yeah, escape just says you got to exile 4 card types. But it says any number of other cards, so you can just nuke everything. You can grow a Murktide with it. Okay. So we do have Break the Ices, which we're going to see how well those work. I could probably keep in like a Go for the Throat over a Drown. Maybe I get to hit a Devourer of Destiny. But yeah, ring, one ring, stupid. I know I see all the posts on Twitter that people are saying, oh, you can make the One Ring the first restricted card. Only allowed 1 copy of it. Like, no, just get rid of it. Don't be messing around with restricted stuff. The old Shadow conundrum. Do I keep the no land or the no threat hand with Preordain and Wraith? Do I mulligan to a hand that has Consign to Memory or Thoughtseize or Shadow? Like, even if we do draw it, my interaction's not great here. So it's kind of, oh, the best thing I can draw is Break the Ice, but that means I don't have a threat, or Shadow or Nethergoyf, but that means that I'm just hoping Counterspell gets there. Cycle Street Wraith first, because if I find like a Thoughtseize, I'd rather lead on that than Preordain. I mean, bottom that, top that, go. It was all I asked for. I'll give it that. Man, look at this Break the Ice. Look at how much ice I can break. With Utopia Sprawl Basic Forest. Alright, now I will absolutely say that if I get Veil of Summered here, you're probably going to see a grown man cry. So, be ready for that. Alright, no crying yet. My mouse just go dead. Dude. I think my mouse has broken a world record for the most times it's gone dead in the last, like, 2 weeks. Okay. Fetch lands are good. Fetch land means Shadow big. Just overload it easy. Yeah, just the thing you expect to do in your Shadow deck. Overload or Break the Ice. And yet we might. Am I just countering this so they can't follow up with like a Sowing Myco spawn? think I am gonna counter this. Why not? Because it's a counter spell on something. Alright, that's a pretty good draw. Oh yeah. Oop. Go. Nice. Nice colorless deck that can't make colorless. Ah. Got him. No. Ah. Rude. Alright. Well, hopefully replicated consigned to memory is enough to do something here. I'll just hold on to the Tamiyo. Can you counter the color choice trigger on Sprawl? I don't believe so. Because it's like choose as it enters the battlefield. It's not when it enters the battlefield, choose a color. If it said when it enters the battlefield, choose a color, then yeah, you would be able to counter that win trigger. But because it's just choose as it enters, you're kind of screwed. Do it. Do it. I dare you. One, two, three, four. We're gonna counter the shit out of this Kozilek's command. Worth it. Worth it just for that. Okay. Not really changing up much. Opponent going bra. Oh man. I don't care. Just imagine that. Alright. If there is anybody out there that makes like replicate tokens or something like that, something where you could make a copy, like token copy of consigned to memory for stack purposes, and you were able to just tap like 7, put a consigned to memory on the stack, and then just fan out your replicate tokens, that would be pretty hilarious. Not a great hand. We do have Wraith Thoughtseize. So if I hit a fetch land in the first 2, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 life lost. If I find another fetch land, I can get down to Shadow on turn 2. But then I've got no life loss after that. Yeah, I do think this is too risky. Okay. So turn 2 flip Tamiyo with a consign. What am I throwing back? Sink into Stupor, probably. That way I can turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Tamiyo. I could sit on Consign. No. Blood Moon. Why on earth does this person have a Blood Moon in their deck? What the hell? They did reverse engineer the meta. Okay, I mean, I guess I'm just taking Blood Moon. I can't really beat that one. Like, yeah, they'll get a talisman. They can't. Alright, let's say they have a green land on top. They could Utopia Sprawl, but they can't play the talisman. They could talisman then Utopia Sprawl, and I'd have to like find another land to... I could... Yeah, I gotta take the Blood Moon. It pains me, but... Okay, another Utopia Sprawl is not a land for, or another Utopia Sprawl is not a land for Utopia Sprawl. You get it. All right, show me a land. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna play out Tamiyo. Cycle Wraith to flip the Tamiyo. Start ticking up. Play out a land. Hold up one of our counter spells. Proceed to not let our opponent cast a 1 ring. That's a really good draw. So now we'll keep ticking up Tamiyo, play out our double shadow, hold up stub. And we'll see which we need first. Whether it's like, if we find a fetch land, we can Tamiyo tick down, get Thoughtseize, and have the kill next turn. If we don't find a fetch land, we can Thoughtseize, we can do whatever. Utopia Sprawl doesn't matter. Let me double check before I say something stupid. Artifact enchantment in the graveyard. If they double Utopia Sprawl up this land, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So even with a land that makes 2, they cannot cast Emrakul. So I can let the Utopia Sprawls resolve. I could also just get back, yeah, Consign or whatever. That's also fine. But we want to wait and see if we get the fetch and we can just kill in 1 turn. We do not, so we'll get back the Consign. attack with our 2 shadows, pass the turn, and good luck, Godspeed. Survey says no. Finger guns. Finger guns. Tamiyo. Tamiyo so good. We did break the ice. I'm really, really glad that I put the break the ice and the consigns in there, and we got to see Eldrazi, and I got to see those cards. Just an idea, or maybe 4 Nethergoy is too much, maybe 3 are enough. What is your reasoning? Because I think Nethergoy's a card that's like really good in multiples. So I would like to hear your thoughts. Only needed 7 sideboard cards for the MH3 ring deck. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, opponent has revealed Giganta. I could lead on Nethergoyf and just accept that it could die to like a Galvanic Discharge on turn 1. But if they Galvanic Discharge on turn 1, it means they're not playing a scary 1-drop. But it's probably pretty free to just look for like Counterspell, Fatal Push. Get more attackable through Graveyard Hate, and if you want to get some back for your Graveyard, if you have multiples, they all get worse. Sure. Reasonable argument. Counter argument would be the unfair matchups that aren't grave hating you. You want big, dumb, stupid goofer in multiple to attack. So, like, yeah, it's worse into Graveyard Hate, but 1, not everybody's playing Graveyard Hate. 2, if they don't have the Graveyard Hate, it's still really, really good. 2. I don't really want Tomato, but I think I will take a Drown. If this is energy, it's not a very good Tomato matchup. If it's like Ruby Storm, I would love for it to be Ruby Storm, but alas, it like never is. Mardu Energeticals. What would you like, opponent? I do think it's interesting that they got a Godless Shrine, so you could probably infer that they have something like an Ajani in their hand. Because if they had like Galvanic Discharge or Amped Raptor, they might be more likely to get a black-red land. It's not a perfect assumption by any means, but it's got a little merit. We'll hold up Drown to try to fight over one of the 2-for-1s. Just another Thoughtseize. Sure. Thoughtseize away. Yeah, I really like Tamio because she does, again, fight on an axis that the rest of the deck doesn't. You don't need combat damage to win. You don't care about grave hate. She is very proactive if you use her proactively. Ocelot Pride. Alright. Well, we're gonna have to kill this eventually anyway, so... might as well do it before they get a token. If I get back Nethergoyf, it is a... 2, 3, 4... 1, 2, so it doesn't dodge Flage. Been that. Amped Raptor. A Johnny. Alright. Are we killing a Johnny with the trigger on the stack? Sure. Keep them from having, like, land galvanic discharge. Make second a Johnny a little bit worse. Sorcery instant. Sorcery, creature, instant land. So we are just going to play out the shadow, let them throw a removal spell at it, and then they do that. We get back Nethergoyf, and still not in a great spot, but kind of better than doing nothing. And there's always the chance that they just attack in and we get to outgrow Galvanic Discharge. Oh, I definitely did not update the MTG bot. Let me do that real quick. Your decks. Dimir Shadow. Dimir Tamio Shadow. Import. Choose file. That one. Open. Import. Oh, this just like doubles up. Oh my god. How do you clear? Bulk edit. Save. Or import. Open. Oh, there's a replace entire existing deck button. You know, that would make sense. Then we have to delete command deck. Oh. Add com deck. Is that the right one? Yes. Bam. Okay. It's a very annoying process. Hopefully Moxfield will be able to start transitioning over deck lists, or having a bot automate deck lists at some point, but at least at the moment they do not. Stomp. Boo. It's just like a known thing every time that the card off the top is going to be what you needed before the removal spell resolved. Like, hey, that stub would have been really good in hand. Please don't flage me. All right, what am I looking for? Preordain. Well, I guess technically that grows the Nethergoyf. Is this a Flage with a mistap, or is this a Fable? Ah. Obnixilis. Yeah. You're not beating Obnix, a Johnny. So what they could do is make 2 devils. Or they sacked a token. So this comes in. Yeah, with 2. So they could like make 2 tokens and then 0 a Johnny and kill the Nethergoyf. That'd be pretty cool. Be pretty ballin', as the kids would say. Board out a couple tomatoes. Tamio, not the greatest into the energy matchups. Pretty sure the Static Prison hitter. MTG Static Prison. Yeah, just non-land permanent. It's a pretty cool hand. I think we can get there. Maybe. Need to draw a whole mess of lands. It feels so bad bottoming those. Show me a land. I hate to see it. Yep. Ocelot Pride. You can attack him with the guide if they want. Okay. I need a land. I need a land in the worst possible way. You know what that was? That was not a land. So I'll bobble myself, see if there's a fatal push on top. Alas, there's not. It's also not a land. But if I find a second land and I can like go for the throat, the guide, maybe I can stabilize, but it's pretty unlikely at this point. Just too far behind. Pretty good. Well, I probably might as well throw the Nethergoyf in front of something. So they're gonna take 6, 7, go to 7. Yeah, that's fine. Now I'm pretty sure land doesn't do it. Yeah. That's a rough one. Like, I don't think that was a bad keep. A one lander with a preordain. If we find the second land, we get like multiple removal spells opened up. With the potential of finding a third to just like Meat Hook Massacre away the Raptor and the Pride tokens. It's unfortunate that it didn't work out, but I don't think the keep was bad. It had like everything we needed except obviously the second land. So yeah, I'm not upset about that one. Like, I think it's fair to get, like, upset at yourself for misplays. But when it comes to, like, statistical likelihood situations, I think it's a lot different. Like, I don't think I'm going to keep this hand on the play. Because if I don't find the land, then shadows are just dead. I don't have a preordain or a way to dig for another land. And this is much better. Just get rid of push. We thought sees away something impactful early. It's more likely that counterspell is going to be useful to follow up shadow than push. If opponent lets us go to our main phase here. Eventually. I guess that gives me a second to adjust the overlay. Make sure my internet's not cutting out. I don't know if I mentioned it on stream previously, but I do have a move coming up in... Not really a move as much as splitting time between 2 locations coming up in like a week and a half. Should be pretty fun. I'll be splitting time between here and the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So I'll have a little more of a dedicated stream environment over there. Also, why is it taking down my clock? Did I do something here? Did I mulligan twice and not realize it? Alright, there we go. Just like stalled out between the wait and the main phase. Devoted Druid. So I could take the namesake card, I could take the cauldron. Walking Ballista can be a pain. Alright, so if you've ever played Shadow, you know this trick where we're going to see if we can get our opponent to go in on this Walking Ballista to shoot our Shadow and then have like Cycle Street Wraith in response. But it doesn't look like they're going to fall for our shenanigans. We shenaned once, but we shan't shenan again. That's a pretty good draw. Also a good draw. So I can Thoughtseize away the Ballista and plan on like Fatal pushing the Devoted Druid. The downside would be if they have something in addition to the Ballista, it's kind of awkward. Or I could just hold up the counter spell. Then I might have to take a big hit off something. I think I'm just going to hold up the counter spell. Yeah. I don't know. That's really close. Or maybe they have like a chord here. Sure. Birthing Ritual. No. I'm going to play a Ballista on one. That's pretty good. Let's go push the Giver. We're just gonna... attack. Because I don't know if what I'm pushing yet. Like, depending on what they draw, I might need to push the Ballista. If they draw, like, the thing that stops you from putting counters or a cord or something, then I need to push the Druid. So... I also kind of figured that they'd have a Surveil land. Maybe they just don't have one. My Kingdom for a Deluge. Well, we'd need that third land thing. But, yeah. Yeah, if we're going all in on this Ballista, that thing is definitely eating a fatal push. Oop. Not even gonna shoot me in the face. Okay. I mean... we are just going to move on into Abyss mode. They do have a Surveil land. Why didn't they use that last turn? So if I counter this, they have to chump with one of these two. Let's assume they chump with the Devoted Druid. No. They chump with the Noble Hierarch. I push the Devoted Druid. Yeah. I think my goal right now just needs to be, like, get bodies off the board. Yep. Yoink. So make, like, Court of Calling worse. I swear they're gonna top deck a One Ring. Just 4 mana, Windmill, slam the One Ring. We cry. And then I get messages in chat like, see, the One Ring revitalizes dead archetypes. I'm like, ah. Dang. It's in fact not a One Ring. Alright, it did. We've got a Sink into Stupor coming off the top. Blink, you. I don't know if I like that attack from them. Like, I kept a card on top, and I feel like you have to know it's either a removal spell. Counter spell is probably not doing it, but even if I do draw a counter spell, then just going for the dude there's probably not the best. Okay. Heliod. Or I guess it could not be Heliod, but I assume Heliod somewhere in the 75. Weird play. They don't even have lethal next turn. Yeah. I wonder if they're running like Sylvan Safekeeper. I feel like that would be a much better pickup there. Yeah, we'll rock this. About to show off Tamiyo. You're ready for Doubters and Shambles. Yoink. No. Immediately draw the Drown in the Lock after they resolve the Cauldron. That's how I feel about Veil of Summer on the daily. Alright, show me a Wraith. Boo. They can turn this Giver into a Mana Dork, so I think I'm just gonna take it out. Would have loved a Street Wraith so much there. Helidomri's Call for Devoted Druid. Fair. Alright, so Thoughtseize. Shalai, Voice of Plenty. That is an actual, factual Shalai, Voice of Plenty. Go ahead and get our shadow down. Say go. You planeswalkers you control and other creatures you control have hexproof. Finale 4. Okay. Good draws are good. I think I'm going to get down Nethergoyf and drown the Noble Hierarch. Or do I want to draw off a clue and see what I find and then decide? Let's draw. Tamiyo, you beautiful, beautiful moon sage thing. Whatever you are. Honestly, not entirely sure, but we know you're here for us. Duskwatch Recruiter. Well, I'm going to keep chunking into their mana here. Alright, just finally decides to target me with the Soul Cauldron. Pretty funny. Duskwatch down. So we know their hand is a Finale and a Shalai. Don't want another tomato. Don't really want another Bloodstained Mire. But I could use that to draw. I can't return push because of Soul Cauldron. If I target something with Tamiyo, they just respond and exile it with Soul Cauldron. So does not accomplish a whole lot. I guess I can just hold up Stern Scolding this turn. Yep, so I can get some mana. Oh, they get, isn't that thing 3 mana? Never mind. 2. So okay, they can Shalai, or they can just filter through their entire deck right now with Duskwatch. Let's see what they find. Like, they can make Duskwatch infinitely big, but I don't care about that. Or I care, but I don't care. Well, we think they have Ballista. Like, realistically, we should make them show me Ballista.
Kroger for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week.
Like, I don't like making people click out combos, but at the same time, it can be important information.
We've locked in low prices to help you save big store-wide. Look for the locked-in low prices tags and enjoy extra.
All right, so there's the Ballista.
Fresh for everyone.
Hear that? That's what cooked when you order juicy beef sounds like. The steaming hug of 2 slices of melted cheese, the crunch of tangy pickles and sliced onions, all topped with a toasted sesame.
Let's bring in Hearse.
The sound of a McDonald's quarter.
Usually not big on Hearse in a matchup like this, but it's Hearse. Kind of don't want Meat Hook, because they're not attacking me, so I don't want to gain the life back. But then again, it could just be fine to sweep the board, especially with, like, Nethergoyf. Can't you just counter Ballista on the stack because it's power and toughness 0? Assuming they don't have any more Ballistas in their deck. That could be true. But I think for quality of life purposes, we'll assume they have some way of getting Ballista back. Like Finale gets it back, right? So if they have some creature that can get back Finale. I don't know. I'm kind of okay with saying, hey, you'll find some way to keep comboing out. You've got infinite mana and you can get all the creatures out of your deck. Maybe they have an internal witness or something. It's one of those things, like, if I was playing by myself and not streaming, I'd probably make them click it out and see what happened. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Yay. So I got to decide about, like, do I want to sink into Stupor the Soul Cauldron? Do I want to just draw? See, like, if they put something on the stack and then decide. Just go for the throat, looking pretty bad. Double Leyline of Sanctity. Do I want to just play out the Nethergoyf here? I think I like that. Even if they, like, top deck a Heliod, they can't combo me here. Need another mana. There's a fair chance that they just go, like, land, hard cast Leyline. Yep. That is A-okay with the home team. Push does not grow anything. I'm just gonna nuke some stuff now. Could Besage you, my unlicensed hearse. Which I guess technically would grow my Nethergoyf, so... Alright, well that's gonna flip Tamiyo. So if I go ahead and cycle it now, I don't get the clue. So I want to attack and then cycle after I declare attacks. Because I want the damage. And I want the clue. take up tomato. Say go because this Thoughtseize in our hand does not do anything. Eladamri's call for a devoted druid. Yep. They still have a Beseiju, still have a Leyline of Sanctity. That's a good draw. Is there any reason I might just get back push here? I kind of like that. And just like push the devoted druid. Attack with the Nethergoyf. Shadow, hold up, counter spell. Let's see, True Maki Trend. First time on your stream, learn a lot from your shadow videos from YouTube. Very entertaining. Well, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Definitely feels good when people appreciate the work. I think 1 to 2 frogs could be good for this shadow shell. And they're fine. Like, I wouldn't say you necessarily need them or anything. I don't know if they can get back Soul Cauldron, but seems pretty free to exile that one. I would love to use Beseiju's ability. They are currently not dead, so let's just get Undercity Sewers. That is lethal and lets me, like, crack some more clues if they don't actually die. So. Yay. We did it. On to match number 4. What do we got for this one? I actually got to see how the YouTube video from today is doing. I've gotten like so obsessed with YouTube analytics, just out of curiosity, seeing how things are doing constantly, like what works, what doesn't work, what's getting more or less views at what times of the day, and blah 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 blah. Oh no, this deck's doing terrible. Oh well. Alright, back to Kaz's comment. I think 1 or 2 frogs would be good for this shadow shell. What is Frog doing that you are overly interested in having access to? That's like the first question whenever somebody suggests a card is just why? Like what is it doing that you're not doing already? What problem is it solving? Where does it fit into the equation? For me, it's a card that's not great in multiples. Talking about the frog. Okay, well, like, what is the first frog doing? Where does frog fit into the deck? And I'll tell you why, like, frog has been kind of awkward for me. Did they keep or did they mull? They mulligan, so I guess I'll keep. When you can't pitch further copies, it's a strong card. It is a strong card, but like you're a deck that's proactively playing out your stuff early and often. You're thought seizing, you're playing out your Nethergoyfs, you're playing out your Tamios. So you're really never like in a spot where you actively have things you can just ditch to Frog for free. You've got a lot more proactive cards than like Dimir Murktide has. Which makes it really awkward in times. Alright, second land is really, really nice to pick up here. I think I'm just going to go Swamp Thoughtseize. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Voice of the Blessed. As long as Voice of the Blessed has 4 or more 1/1 counters on it, it has Flying and Vigilance. Well. I'll take things I might not be able to beat for 500, Alex. Like with Tamiyo, my argument for Tamiyo for the most part is this is a card that I don't have to devote new things into. Like I just get to play get to play Street Wraith, Mishra's Bauble, Preordain, and that does everything I want to do with Tamiyo. And like those are cards I'm already interested in playing with Nethergoyf. But when you start adding the Frog package to the mix, then you have to take into account like, okay, well, what if I see something different? What if I have Thoughtseize into Thoughtseize plus Fatal Push your dude into Frog, and I've got what? Fetch, Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, maybe a third land Frog. Now I just don't have a hand. So I'm kind of hoping that Frog can get me out of that. Am I playing out Tamiyo and letting them gain a life off of this Soul Warden? Or am I Fetch, Shock, Thoughtseizing down to 9, taking 4... I think I'm just playing out Tamiyo. Oh, that triggers it too. Ugh. She draws half your library, yes, but that's not 100% game over. So I have lost one game where I've ulted a Tamiyo, and that was against Crabvine, where I didn't see a Fatal Push in the top half of the cards I drew. And I had to pay 2 life for a Dismember instead of Fatal Pushing a Vengevine. And I lost it exactly lethal damage. So I'd say, like, out of the options that you have available to you in Shadow, Tamiyo ult is probably one of the closer ones to an automatic win. Is it perfect? No, absolutely not. But compared to other options that the archetype has, it's pretty close. But again, like, Frog is a card that, whether you want to believe it or not, it is combative with other cards in your deck. For example, if you want to get over blockers, you have to exile stuff in your yard. And I don't know why, but people tend to think that your graveyard is like this endless resource that you can just continually exile 3 from over and over and over again and not have any issues. And obviously that is not the case, but Like, your graveyard is absolutely finite. Alright, I think I'm going to crack a clue, because I need to find an answer to this, this voice. And if I don't, I'm kind of super dead. Like, Frog's going to nuke your graveyard to an extent. Not completely, but a non-zero amount. Do they have another 1-drop? So you have to keep that in the back of your mind. You also have to deal with the fact that Frog is another creature that relies on attacking your opponent. So in situations where attacking your opponent isn't the best line of victory, there's not really anything you can do about that. Just like another voice. Please don't lose to Soul Sisters. Soul Sisters is a horrible matchup for Shadow. Especially if they have Kami of False Hope and the enchantment that they just get to like loop stuff. It's really, really bad. So, what's my out here? My opponent attacking with everything. And I go block Soul Warden with Nethergoyf, block Voice with Tameo, and then like blink the big voice or something. Get Soul Warden off the battlefield. Yeah, Miria is terrible for you. Especially if you're like this and you're a blue-based Shadow deck with just a bunch of counter spells into all their 1-drops. Yeah, I would never consider this a good matchup. Such a weird attack. I guess this doesn't have flying. Sure. Oh boy. Yeah, we'll scoop to that. I don't have any way of beating them going this wide. Going wide with the Pride and the Ritual. Ugh. Ugh. Toxic Deluge is ready. I will agree with that. Tameo, again, pretty good in these kind of matchups because you get to blank Ocelot Pride, which is a big deal. I don't love a lot of my sideboard choices. Trim a couple Thought Seizes to give me a life buffer for Deluge. Yeah, like old school Martyr proc was always a really bad matchup for Shadow. I mean, I can't throw this back, right? I know it's got double Tameo, but I have the chance of just finding second land, like flipping Tameo turn 2. Stern Scolding for everything after turn 1, maybe. All I really need to do is find a second land. Dang. Gonna do me like this, eh, deck? After all I did for you. My few leagues with Blue-Black Merc, I've liked Frog the best. When on the play, turn 2, slam with Force Negation backup. Yeah, I mean, same idea with Tamiyo in this list. Like, instead of slamming Frog, you're slamming Tamiyo. Maybe they don't have a second land. Dang. It's okay, because we absolutely have a second land off the top here. Not the worst. So if they get a Portico here, we bobble on their upkeep. Leyline of Vitality. Ooh, we are digging deep in the bag. Creatures you control get +0/+1. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain 1 life. What you got off that Ranger, Captain? Maybe like 4 more Guida Souls. Ocelot Pride. Okay, so this is 1 draw off Tamiyo. Now I have to think, am I just flipping Tamiyo? Is that like the best thing that I have available to me to do? Or am I better off holding like Stern Scolding? I think I'm going to flip. And the reason being is if I find a Toxic Deluge, I want this Tamiyo flipped. I think Deluge is like my way of getting back out of this a little bit. Like they can attack Tamiyo. They've got Guide, Ocelot, Pride. They've got some energy coming in. Got a lot of energy coming in. Maybe they choose not to overcommit. Birthing Ritual. All right. Tamio's going to stay alive for the moment. I'd assume they have to have options. Sanctifier on Vec. I think we need to kill the captain. I think we need to kill the guide of souls. I think that's the thing that's going to mess us up. They're just one energy away. I could Thoughtseize the Ocelot Pride. I could play out another Tamio. Have a blocker. Ocelot, unknown. If I shock in down to 10, play out Tamio, and they play a creature, then I have to kill the guide. If I Thoughtseize, take the Ocelot, shock in Watery Grave, it's like the exact same situation, but I just paid more life for it. I really want to just kill the Ocelot, or kill the Guide of Souls. They can't start flying things. That's fine.
With the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card, earn unlimited 2% cash back on purchases you want, like dance lessons.
You're attacking both at me. We'll block the more damage. Don't really care if they like kill off this Tamio. Yep. Thoughtseize, Tamio, and Stern. So again, the problem with any line that doesn't involve killing the Guide of Souls is I run the risk of them being able to just put counters on stuff. So like in this case, if I had thought seized, and they had the second threat and they were able to draw off the canopy, find another threat, then they could have just jumped over. And I was kind of screwed to that. So I got to decide on Sink into Stupor, the Birthing Ritual. I could try to Wraith to dig for like a sweeper. That might be better. Round's not bad. At least gives me something to kill the Voice of the Blessed with. Let's see. Tamiyo is a great card, but there are differences. Frog Clock's better against certain decks, especially Tron. So it's kind of funny that you bring up Tron. I think that Frog is a reasonable clock against Tron if you just shove all into the Frog. If you just throw all of your cards into it and say, I'm going to kill you in like 3 turns. I hope you don't have interaction. Or I discard like 4 cards, 5 cards into it. And at which point it's a, 4-turn clock. And that's reasonable as long as they don't draw like 2 pieces of interaction or a chump blocker or anything like that. I actually think Tamiyo is really, really good against Tron because you play her on turn 2, flip her. All you got to do is sit there with counter magic that you're already playing. You don't have to throw your counter magic away. And if you alter on turn 5, like, you win. You untap with your shadows and you're consigned to memories and you close out the game. It's a pretty big deal to have. And I only bring that up because, like, I can show you games on our YouTube where Tamiyo has done exactly that and won against Tron because just ulted her and got to turn 5, dropped a Harbinger, dropped Thoughtseize, double Shadow, held up double Counterspell, whatever the case may be, and just closed out the game in a turn or 2. And didn't have to devote my entire hand to a frog. I can also show you games where we ditched our whole hand to a frog to stand in front of a Devourer of Destiny and won from there. So it goes both ways, but I do think, for me personally, Tamiyo has been more consistent in matchups like that than Frog has been. And we can agree to disagree. That's perfectly acceptable. Another Voice of the Blessed. Okay. Well, we're definitely counterspelling that one. Does this mean they have guide plus something else, or... Sure. Just my experience. People should be open-minded when discussing cards and experience. I agree. Should be open-minded. That's why I'm saying that I've had experiences in both camps. Tamiyo being great and Frog being great. Spend all our energy on this thing. I would like to block. You think they're going to start the turn with sack Ranger Captain? Are they going to wait for me to ult Tamiyo? Maybe that means I need to... Or I can't sink into Stupor here because of the Ranger Captain ult. Okay. Opponent's got one card in hand. Let's get ready to rumble. So we play out the other Tamiyo first. So that when we ult this Tamiyo, it triggers the second one to flip. So we can tick up the new one and keep a lot of these 1/1s at bay. So we'll tick up. Ranger Captain only says non-creature spells, right? Yeah. So we did find some fatal pushes. We don't have a basic swamp in our hands, so we can go get the basic swamp, play out Shadow. At least a Shadow. And just pass the turn from there. And I think we go for the fatal push on the voice on their upkeep. We also didn't draw a we didn't draw a Deluge or the other one, which is pretty funny. Deluge or Meat Hook Massacre. was gonna say, that cat doesn't matter because of Tameo. Unless they're planning on putting counters on it. In which case, go crazy. So many Guide of Souls triggers. Got another voice. Okay. Meat Hook Massacre. Hold up. Hold up. Let them cook. So we can shock in Meat Hook for 2 or 3. Kill everything except the voice, which we can fatal push. We gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 life. One, two. Oh, we can only do it for 2. That's fine, right? Yeah. Done. Like, love that for us. Okay, and we're attacking with Shadow because if they want to block, cool, right? We're also getting baubles down. They're drawing a Dismember. You got it. We've already played a land for turn. They've got no cards in hand. Go. Tell me that wasn't sick. Where's your frog now? Did I plus? I hope so. Yeah, I did plus. And I am going to fatal push this voice because I do not want them getting another Ranger Captain and continuing that pattern. So let's go to the Birthing Ritual trigger. If they want to dismember, that's... I don't care about dismember. I got more shadows and stuff. Oh, Tameo! Tameo! We got a whole nother game, but come on. Tell me that wasn't sick. Try to convince me that wasn't sick. I dare you. I say I dare you because you will fail miserably. One of the best games I've seen in a long time. It really was. I'm proud of that one. I'm really glad though that Tamiyo got to show off for all the Tamiyo non-believers out there. But again, like, it's not saying Tamiyo is this like unbeatable card or anything like that. It's just saying that Tamiyo does something that the other cards we have don't always have the ability to do. And situations like that really show it off. I'm not calling you out at all. Don't worry. I'm just saying there are things that the Tamiyo is capable of, and you got to respect it. All right. I might have to just take a chunk of damage here. In order to hold up Drown in the Lock for a birthing ritual. But if they like don't play a birthing ritual or play something else, then I can start killing off Ocelot Prides or whatnot. I just don't want them resolving a birthing ritual. We do need to go down a bit, but like we saw Dismember in their deck last game. So it's a really odd balancing act. Like, I need to go down, yeah, but if I don't go down enough, there's Dismember. If I go down too much, there's stuff. Is this a Ranger Captain? I might just counter this. I know one of their cards is Voice. If the other card's a Dismember, it gets a little annoying. Yeah. Here's a Tamiyo. Opponents shaking in their boots. Energy matchup seems really hard to beat with blue-black Merc. It's definitely not great. Got a Voice. But having strange feelings about Tamio. Can you blame him? Have you seen this card? Alright, let's go ahead and shoot down this Ocelot Pride. Stop them from gaining a little more board presence. Hiya. I wonder why. I guess they have to have another 1-drop. It's like, if you don't, why are you tapping Horizon Canopy and losing life instead of tapping the Temple Garden and not losing life? Yeah. Get out of here. Oh. I don't even care if I lose this one. Game 2 is worth it. No. Okay. Deluge off the top. Deluge off the top. One time dealer. Bless. 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 Oh. We're not that lucky, he says. We're not that lucky, he says. Excuse me, opponent. I would like to put your cat in the dumpster, if you don't mind. Chef's kiss. So good. So good. Opponent, if you want to type out an angry message, I will accept that. Be still my beating heart. Tamio. Okay, what did I miss in chat? The rush. How does he do it? I wish I had an answer. I wish I had an answer. No room for frogs. I've been on and off frog. And I'm still kind of in the camp of I don't think Frog is some auto include. And there's some games that I want Frog. I think there's more games that I don't want Frog. Still fine if you want to run it. But, like, it's not a card I feel I have to have. Tamiyo is our friend. 100%. 100% Tamiyo is our friend. Like, what's that line from, what's the shark's name? Bruce in Finding Nemo? Like, Tamiyo is friends, not food. Bro, frog hater. I'm not a frog hater. I'm just a Tamiyo supporter. Completely different. Alright, Verdant Catacombs pass. What does Verdant Catacombs pass say to me? Like, Yawg? So if that's the case, I probably want a Thoughtseize. Eternal Witness? Yeah. I'm just taking the E-Wit. Fulminator's annoying, but it's kind of whatever. I can double up like Tamiyo Preordain or something next turn on the Apprentice. I guess it is pretty slow for them to get that back. So maybe I have turn. If they don't draw anything this turn, maybe I get a turn to set up. Like Tamiyo Preordain. Okay. Well, that plan went out the window quick, didn't it? Birthing Ritual. Birthing Ritual. Birthing Ritual. Fulminator's only non-basic lands, right? I probably have to lose some amount of life so that I can, shadow if I find one. That's pretty good. We're just flipping the Tamiyo, right? Like, if there's anything we've learned about my desire to do things involving flipping Tamiyo, we just flip the Tamiyo. We'll figure out the rest when we get there. Ooh, Phyrexian Tower is pretty good. Opponent does have some fancy arts in their deck. I'll give them that. I've never seen this Eternal Witness. Never seen this Blooming Marsh. That Eternal Witness is ugly? Is it? I think it's kind of cool. Maybe I'm just an Eternal Witness hater. Are they gonna get the Yawg? You see this? This is why we can't have nice things. Because every time we do, some Yawgmoth player comes and birthing rituals into a grist. I really need a land. Like, I have to Thoughtseize away this Giralf's Messenger, which sucks. Now they're gonna kill my Tamiyo with a grist, which also sucks. I guess they kind of have to decide between blowing up my land with Fulminator and just having a Fulminator, like sacking it to Birthing Ritual. I guess. Opponent's kind of a jerk. Not gonna lie. Okay, so they get a Yawgmoth here. We draw a fetch land. So I can like push the Yawgmoth, play out a shadow. We're just gonna do that. Okay. Land. Land. Thank you. Here's a Tamiyo. Here's a shadow. Go and pray. Go and pray. It's a pretty good hand refilling, or board refilling. Jeez. Yep, and they're gonna go for the cord right away. So cord for 2. Get a Bowmaster, get a Marionette. Alright, so if I double push the Bowmaster and the army token, attack down the Grist, I need them to whiff on a top deck and whiff on whatever they get off of Birthing Ritual. Is obviously asking a lot. That is a lot of whiffs. Okay. That's not a whiff. Alright, don't think there's anything I can do from here. Another shadow doesn't do it. Something to flip Tameo doesn't do it. Dude, Birthing Ritual's been a nightmare today. Like the 4th Birthing Ritual deck we've played against. Reminds me of the last PT coverage. Guy combos with Nadu, draws like 8 cards, and commentators say that they whiffed, unfortunately. It's like, oh man, I didn't get there. Go. Force a denial. Force a denial. Sack this one. Or discard this card for Endurance you. Veil of Summer, your counter spell. Shucks. I couldn't win. All right. So people think Birthing Pod's a fine unban, and those people are what we would call wrong. Like, tremendously wrong. Like, what drugs are you on because I need a set wrong? Malevolent Rumble, Marionette Apprentice, Accursed Marauder, Abrupt Decay. Ugh. What world are we living in? My man's got Abrupt Decay. I don't know if you heard me out there in the back. Abrupt Decay. Abrupt Decay is back to formatted ceiling. It's kind of funny because, like, I unironically looked at Abrupt Decay for Sultai Shadow when I was coming up with a few lists. And it wasn't bad. I don't know if you're aware, but Abrupt Decay kills Flage. So that's like an automatic 7 extra points to it right there. You know what? We will hold up Drown in the Lock. Maybe not. Dude, I'm telling you, when like a deck doesn't want you to find something, you will not find that thing. Like, you know what would be nice? Lands. You know what you're never going to see? Lands. Yawgmoth, push. What did they keep? They revealed Yawgmoth, push. Oh, they kept another apprentice. Sure. So, apprentice trigger on the stack. We're gonna push. Land. Land. Not bad. Not a land, but not bad. Would be a lot better with that aforementioned land. Okay, so they've got an innkeeper. I know about a marionette master. Or marionette apprentice. Sorry, not a master yet. Well, if their last card is a Court of Calling, woe is me. Guess it still could be, but... Land? Am I playing another one? I'm not sure yet. We'll see how this one finishes up. Innkeeper in the bin. Land is nice. Go ahead and cast something. Just windmill slam, whatever it is you want to windmill slam. And we, naturally, are going to find a land. Land. So another Gorf might go the distance. It's always possible. But I just don't want to tap off of Counterspell until, like, I have one more land. Or not. I don't want to tap off of Counterspell, period. But I don't want to, like, play out a threat and tap off of Counterspell. And so much of me says, like, I need to preordain for this land. But the rest of me is just like, you're gonna get punished so bad for it. I was 100% prepared for the, like, Court of Calling in response there. I was so beyond ready. Alright. Here, I might just, like, play out Shadow and not attack, so that I'm not dead to something like another Abrupt Decay. And then next turn, I can Bloodchief's Thirst like the Yawgmoth and attack. But I already have to counter like a Bowmaster's here. How does he do it? How does he do it? It's like he knows. He knows the luck that he encounters in modern leagues. It's just so obvious. I do need to get the game over with. I can't just sit here and do nothing for forever. You have the Yawg too. Yeah. Just waiting for a chance to double spell. You definitely just draw 3 cards here. Yawg Papegas, am I right? You are right. It's just one of those decks that happens to line up really good against us. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. And it certainly doesn't help when they run Abrupt Decay and see a bunch of those. Alright. Back it up to the grist. I know how games work. But honestly, I'm fine with that league because the Tamiyo versus Mono White was more than worth it in my book. Let's crack our pity chests here. I have no idea what any of those cards are. Stony Silence, I know that one. Alright, what do we think? Meat Oak Massacre was dope. I did find myself wanting another land quite a lot over the course of that league. So I think there's a very real non-zero chance that I try to find room for another land. Probably... It could even be like a canopy land, honestly. Like a waterlogged grove or something. Just some other land or mana producing spell. Even if you want a third sink into stupor would be fine. But just some other card that makes mana. There were just too many times where we got stuck on 1 or stuck on 2 and needed 3. So maybe that would help a good bit. Sideboard was fine. We saw Tron finally and Consign and Break the Ice kind of put them into a blender. Force Negation didn't come in. Or it came in against Tron, and I think that was it. So maybe we're just past the meta where Force Negation's worth a spot. If you want to run Harbinger, you could, but like I've really been wanting to try out Break the Ice, and I think it did really well. I think it did better than Harbinger would have done. But we also saw Basic Forest Utopia Sprawl Tron. So take that with a grain of salt. Main deck. I don't think there was any time that anything in our main deck actually looked bad. But I know it can absolutely be optimized. So... that'd probably be a plus.